My friends, good day. I'm broadcasting from this mental institution called the United Kingdom. So I'm committed in a straitjacket, my friends. So let me tell you a story. When I talk to French friends and I tell them we have problems here, for example, I say, I have trouble getting an appointment with the GP. The other day I was sick and I kept calling and they didn't want to give me an appointment. You know what my French friends tell me? Oh, yes, I understand you. It's the same for us. It's getting really hard. The other day, it literally took me 10 days to get an appointment with the doctor. He said it's not possible this week. It'll be at the end of next week. Wow, great. You don't realize what we're talking about. You have to live in the UK to know what we're talking about. I feel like after I don't know how many videos, we're still not in agreement. We're still not on the same page. The last time I was able to get a medical appointment in the UK was in 2019. That's 6 years ago, okay? And it's not because I didn't try. I tried, but there was no way, okay? Just to give you an idea, to give you a sense of scale. And why am I telling you all this? It's not to complain, it's not to come and whine, right? I'm talking to you because our story has now become a warning. When I was a kid in the projects, I grew up in the projects, we always had guys whose lives had become a kind of warning. Be careful, don't become like him, don't do what he did. You can always find someone like that around you. In life, that person becomes the image of failure, the image of suffering. And an example we give to children, don't do the same thing. So today, just in the category of don't do the same, I'm going to show you 231 newspapers from today. It's just, I didn't collect them over a year. These are today's newspapers. I walked into a gas station and went like this. This. I bought 3 newspapers. I'll show them to you. I bought newspapers from various political leanings just to show you what kind of country we live in. All right? So, first newspaper, Daily Telegraph, right? So Daily Telegraph today is telling us a story on the front page. So this is the front page. And if I go to the inside pages, I'm not saying what. What is it telling us? Join a terrorist group and stay in the United Kingdom. So what's the story? It's the story of a woman who comes from Niger, right? And who applied for asylum. She applied for asylum 8 times because you can apply for asylum 100 times. You apply, if you're refused, you submit another application, and then you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. I mean, sooner or later, by brute force, like we say in computer science, if you keep trying and trying, they'll say yes, no, that's it. But do you know what she did? After the 8th rejection, she joined a terrorist group. And I'm not joking. On the front page, right? Well, she was accepted. That's it. She said yes, because now I've joined a terrorist group. If I go home, then the Nigerian people, right? They have common sense. The Nigerian people, they punish terrorists. They punish people who join terrorist groups. It's not like here. Here, they give them money. They give them housing. They take care of all that. They even give them medical care, priority medical care, which the people who pay taxes here don't get, right? That's it. That's here. We're different. What's extraordinary about Europe is this. I was recently in the United States talking with Americans. I also talk a lot with Europeans, right? And I try to compare the cultures a bit. I'm the product of multiculturalism, right? I've lived in many places, all that. So obviously it allows you to compare. So let me tell you something. The problem with Europe, do you know what the real problem with Europe is? I'll tell you. The problem is this superiority. It's the feeling of superiority. It means they don't try to solve their problems. They don't try to feed their children. They don't try to protect, to have a decent level of security, access to healthcare, to have schools that work, to have roads that are good, that you can drive on, to have means of transportation that are clean, all that. No, that's not the goal. They're all about superiority. That is for other peoples. They claim a moral superiority over others. That's it. So big problem. So I was saying, what message are we sending as a country? What message are we sending to the world by saying, oh, if you joined a terrorist group, here's a residence permit. Here you go. We didn't know. You should have started with that. You see, there's a misunderstanding. At first, we denied you a residence permit because we didn't know you were in a terrorist group. It's your fault. You could have right from the start, the first time when you come to the office in front of us, right away you tell us, look, I belong to a terrorist group. You give us the name of the terrorist group and all that. We check. if indeed it's a group known for committing atrocities, killings, bombs, someone from a place, right? I hope you're not watching this video on a plane, are you? At that moment, we would have immediately given you the residence permit. There's even a VIP line for that. But it's you, it's your fault. See, it was just a misunderstanding. So this woman now has a residence permit. And then, of course, that's the message we're sending around the world. Because there's a system, as they say, when there's a court decision or even an administrative decision, it falls under what's called case law. People find out about it. Now, yes, now that's it. Now, if someone goes to apply for a residence permit, right away, he has to state it. Right away, he'll say, look, I'm with a terrorist group. I have Emir Jeremy Raboudin. She hit Rani. Look, I've got Emir Raboudin. So Emir Raboudin, Afghan, what he did was he gave me a document. I have an A4. I have a certificate, all that, with the stamp, the seals, the tax stamp and everything. My photo is well stapled here. There you go, residence permit. Crazy stuff, as they say. So there you go, I'll show you another newspaper. I'll show you another newspaper from today as well. So Daily Express, there's a story. So that's our minister. I mean, we change them so often that I can't even remember their names anymore. So here she's saying that we have to put our interests first. That's crazy. Our interests first. Well, that's what they say, but that's not what they do. Actually, there's a problem here. This conservative leader from the Conservative Party, what did she say? She said they need to close it. This legal route that allowed some Palestinians to stay in the UK, including one who has been in the UK for just 6 days. Based on a scheme, isn't it? An immigration scheme created for Ukraine. So it's a that's what we call the loss of AOC. That's what we call the loss of AOC. It's like back when there were, for example, Syrian migrants. You could come from Afghanistan, you could come from Algeria, you could come from Brazil. You were always considered Syrian migrants. There's no AOC for these things. So it's the same. The Ukrainian just lost his AOC. Now we don't have it anymore. You can basically produce Ukrainians anywhere in the end. In reality, what does this case law do? It allows any person living in any region or country in the world at war to automatically obtain the right to reside in the United Kingdom. That's it. That's millions and millions of people. That's it. Everyone come to our place. It's small, but there's room. That's it. Knock on the door and say it's for the gas. Isn't that right? We're going to talk about a song. So it's small, but there's room. There you go. That's how it is. Isn't that right? So here, I'm showing you another newspaper again. So just as an anecdote, yesterday there was a long phone conversation between Trump and Putin. They are even going to meet in Saudi Arabia. Is something going to happen as well? So you see that they are going to meet in Saudi Arabia. It's no coincidence. That means here we have a diplomatic intervention by Saudi Arabia, which is creating a mediation, what we call a mediation. So they are going to bring both of them to the table to discuss, to create an environment that allows for exchange. That's how wars end. You know, wars always end eventually. And how do they end? They always end with people sitting at the table and finding an agreement. Find an agreement. Because war, in the end, this war in Ukraine was a war between the United States and Russia. We agree on that. I think by now, at this point, you must know that. If you don't know that, we'll need to talk and discuss it. It's going to be a long conversation. But it's a war between Russia and the United States, with Ukraine paying the price as a proxy. They've done this before. For example, the Vietnam War was a proxy war with Vietnam split in two. The war in Afghanistan was similar, a proxy conflict between the USSR and the United States. It's something that's quite common in their history, in the history of these two countries, and in the history of their confrontations over the years. The European Union, Europe, France, and the United Kingdom are only involved because they're vassals. They saw the Biden administration there and decided to join in. Then, since we're vassals, we go along, we do what Biden tells us. Biden left, they look foolish. So, here is today's response following that discussion between Putin and Trump, who are actually going to meet. Trump will go to Moscow, Putin will go to Washington, there will be exchanges, etc. Well, look at this one. I'll let you read. So the media, the British paper, the Daily Mail, that's the number one British newspaper. That's the most widely read British newspaper. There's another newspaper that's more widely read than it, but it's free. A Metro newspaper. The problem is that Metro is free. And when you have a free newspaper, well, you can distribute as many as you want. You say you have readers, but you don't really or necessarily have readers. This is the paid newspaper. It's the number one paid newspaper in the United Kingdom. So they're shocked that there was a call between Trump and Putin to stop the war. But will peace betray Ukrainian interests? In fact, it feels like we've annexed Ukraine. For the United Kingdom, Ukraine has become the New Jerusalem. It's a sacred land. They are causing deaths. They blocked the peace agreement. They distributed weapons. They escalated things through incendiary rhetoric and hostile diplomatic and military actions. And then they keep going. They don't want to stop. They haven't understood that it's over. They really haven't understood that it's over. I'll show you. This is a statement today from the British government that uses the same terminology as if we were in 2022. There you go. I think I showed it to you upside down. I don't have it now. If I showed it to you upside down, it would still be right side up, since we're in a country where everything works backwards. We are committed, aren't we, to independence, territorial sovereignty, and integrity in the face of Russia's war of aggression. I mean, we're not even committed to British integrity, independence, and sovereignty, right? We're not even interested in British integrity. Look at this. I'd really like you to look at this. Right? Who is it signed by? It's signed by the United Kingdom, but by whom exactly, my friends? This 4K video image. By the European Commission. Huh? So the United Kingdom co-signs with the European Commission. Brexit. What do you think about Brexit? I'll tell you the theory. Some people want another Brexit vote, saying we should vote again. That's right, it's the people who want to rejoin the United Kingdom. If there is a second vote, for the first vote, I voted no. If there's another vote, how do you think I'll vote? If there's another vote, I don't even bother thinking about it. I'll be having a barbecue that day. I won't even go vote. Because this country, it's done for. It's done for. I don't believe anymore. That's why I'm leaving, by the way. I don't believe in it anymore. It means that when you want to leave, it's not because you want to fix things or start a debate or a conversation. No, it's because you believe it's over. So if they hold another Brexit vote, I won't even bother. It's not even worth it anymore. The enemy is inside anyway. Back then, I blamed the European Union. And don't say that the European Union has become appealing to me now. That's not it. But I'm saying it's as if, for example, in France, just so you can understand the situation we're in, imagine France leaving the European Union with Macron as president and Bayrou as prime minister. Do you think that's going to change anything? Do you think that's going to change anything? They'll do the same thing. For me, Brexit is the biggest one. There is no Brexit. It was a myth. Brexit doesn't exist. You know what we did? We fooled the British. We took the stars off their passports. It no longer says European Union. It's over. And when they go through Charles de Gaulle Airport, for example, or somewhere else, they wait with all the other passport holders purely as a symbol. If a 747 arrives from Nigeria, China, or elsewhere, they wait behind like everyone else. At the border, they're asked about hotel reservations and similar details. The British passport is now devalued. But deep down, there are people who will, I know there are always some people who are a bit sarcastic, who will say in the comments, yeah, aldosterone, see, you got burned. You wait with everyone else. No, when I travel, I don't wait with everyone else. I also have a European passport, okay? I have a British passport and a European passport. Today, I use both. When I enter the United Kingdom, I enter with the British passport. When I go to France or Germany, I enter with another European passport, right? So I'm not affected by that. But there are plenty of problems that I talk about here that don't affect me personally. But I stand up for those who are affected by it, right? That's the idea. Donc, what I was telling you is that we created a few symbolic hassles. We dropped them on the heads of the British to make them believe there was a Brexit. In reality, there is no Brexit at all. We are 100% aligned with European policy. We are 100% aligned. Everything they told us at the time, you'll see, it's going to change when we leave. Nothing has changed at all. We are absolutely the same on every level. The only thing is that British retirees have lost the right to go live in other European Union countries. Period. That's all. The mistake that was made, if you will, is that ideally what should have been done was to do Brexit, but give the power to other parties. We did Brexit, but left the same people in charge. Of course, we're still in it, actually. We're in the European Union. Don't be fooled. So, my friends, that's it. Betrayal, to sum it up. Betrayal, the fear of betraying Ukraine. We betray ourselves. Betrayal is our trademark. We betrayed the old people, letting them freeze to death. Isn't that right? Our Prime Minister, just to give you an idea of betrayal, said that when he came to power, he would help retirees, the disadvantaged, give them a better standard of living, and then he understood what was happening. A left-wing Labour minister. He comes to power. Do you know what he says? He does? Right away, he cuts their heating subsidies. They end up freezing to death in their own homes. And then, there was a scandal in the Labour Party's WhatsApp group. The messages from the WhatsApp group got out. That's what he said. They said it wasn't the Prime Minister, but people around him, people in his party. Do you know what they said? Those retirees can drop dead. Yes, they can die. If they die before the next election, that would be good. Because old people generally vote here, and they vote Conservative. That's why we cut their heating. And we'll say if they die, it's a good thing. And now, yes, are we betraying Ukraine? Actually, we're becoming irrelevant, as they say in English. We no longer exist. It's over. France is finished. As for the geostrategic failure, it's going to happen among the BRICS. It's going to happen between Russia and the United States. And then we'll find out about it in the news. We'll open the newspaper. We'll look on Twitter. And then we'll see the news. We'll see what the world is doing. There you go, my friends. Thank you for listening to this video up to this point. Once again, my book on depression, To Put an End to Depression, is available on Amazon. It's a new book that came out in February 2025. A very personal book with some pretty harsh things inside. I need to make a video about this book. I really need to do it. I'm the only author and YouTuber who hasn't made a dedicated video for their own book, not even for astrology, I assure you. There you go, my friends. See you very soon.